Hey, noble ones. Nolan. Bro, something happened. Something always happens when there is me involved. Yeah, this has to do with me. Woohoo, look at this. So, today we're talking about Wired. Wired, literally my favorite, what is it anyways? Because I know they have the, you know the YouTube channel we used to react to. This is not a react video, by the way. This is not a reaction video, so shut it. But I'm saying, if you remember, I used to react to Wired, also because it was actually quite good for the titles. Meaning I could write, Wired Professor Says X, and then everyone misreads it as weird professor says that, because not like any of you know how to spell. I mean, look at you. So that was great. That was great, because I could literally gain the traction you would if you were to insult the professor in question without even insulting. It's a tangent. Anyways, there's this, okay? And it's called, the new Odyssey movie is sparking a right-wing backlash. This female scholar knows it well. So, this is a little bit of an older, as you can see, it's from, goodness gracious, hold on a minute. Got a live one. I was saying, this is from June 23rd. So in internet time, this is like the Mesolithic period. But then again, this is me we're talking about. So I didn't notice. This is an absolutely incredible, trust me, this is an incredible article for two reasons. The second one being the best one, but I'm going to tell you the second one after the first one, because that way you watch longer. The first reason why this is amazing is because, of course, they're saying, all the backlash that the Odyssey got is because of all the right-wing chuds like the Metatron over here, which already in of itself it's ridiculous because whatever, but the female scholar is, of course, Emily Wilson. However, they did not know that by August, that very Emily Wilson would have doubled down against Nolan. She slammed it, she freaking hated it. But wait on a minute, hold on a minute. You said that we were all a bunch of muppets because we don't know anything, but she knows better. But then again, what are you gonna do now when she literally became MAGA, ladies and gentlemen? Emily Wilson, the ultra-feminist translator, one of, the Odyssey, has now been accused, block everything, has been accused of echoing MAGA. Wired looks like Trouble in Paradise. Or more like Trouble in Hell. In Hades. Trouble in Hades. Anyways, that's point one. And we're gonna jump into it. It's gonna be fantastic. But point two is the one that has to do with me. Because apparently, yours truly is in here. Yours truly is in here. And you know how I know that? I know that because of this gentleman. Where is he? This gentleman. Now, I told you it's not a reaction video, but I gotta give credit to credit is due. So let me watch the part. It's gonna be like 30 seconds. Goodness gracious. Check this out.
Now, the funniest part about this article is it goes to great length. They slur YouTubers and, well, yep, it's Metatron, obviously.
Wait, what?
On the right path. They slur YouTubers.
They slur YouTubers?
And, well, yep, it's Metatron, obviously.
It's me. What can I say? Since this is about me, Wired. Why, what did you say, Wired? What are you saying, Wired? The confirmation of her casting in May kicked off another wave of conniption fits. One YouTuber, so they're not slurring YouTubers, they're slurring YouTuber. Singular, sir. Seemed, to seriously suggest that the nation of Greece should file a lawsuit against Nolan. Nolan! Yes, I doubled down on that. I absolutely tripled down. I mean it. I meant it. It was not sarcasm. Now given. To answer the ridiculous question that they asked me a split second after, but on what grounds exactly? Doctor, I never said that I thought it was ever going to happen or stand trial or any legal actual case. I'm just saying they should morally, because, you know, the government in Egypt did sue Netflix because of that ridiculous monstrosity that it was, the Netflix documentary on Cleopatra, where they black swapped the entire family, because why not? And then they did do a lawsuit, didn't they? And I thought it was great. I haven't got a clue what happened. I doubt they're ever going to win anything. It's on principle, okay? So, let me make this clear for this bunch of lunatics here. Yes, I double down. I do think that the country of Greece should file a lawsuit against Nolan on principle, sir. Open quotes. Helen of Troy, close quotes. Incorrect. I'm expecting precision, Wyatt. It's Helen of Congo. Helen of Congo. Not Helen of Troy. There's no Helen of Troy in sight in Nolan's Odyssey. Helen of Congo. Get it confused with Homer's Odyssey. This is Nolan's Odyssey. Homer's Odyssey, Helen of Troy. Nolan's Odyssey, Helen of Congo. It's very simple. It's very simple. Helen of Troy rocketed up the trending topics on X, with the website's trillionaires owner claiming that Nolan, open quotes, has lost his integrity, close quotes, based, absolutely right, and had, open quotes, desecrated the Odyssey so that he would be eligible for an Academy Award, close quotes. Yeah, I mean, that is one of the reasons, but it's not the only reason. I think the reason why he desecrated the Odyssey, which he absolutely did, was for two reasons. One is, the Academy Award because of the DEI tick boxes. This is real, it's true, just shut it, stop the gaslighting. But the second reason is to push the message, because the propagandistic message needs to be pushed. Let's continue. Such a feverish reaction, based on what? I would say such justifiably feverish reaction, sir. Such feverish reaction to the idea of a fantastical ancient queen being played completely by a black actress has become grimly predictable. You know why? Because it's bullshit, and most people are reasonable. And they know that you scumbags, Wired. Oh, I'll show you, Wired. I came prepared. Oh, I'm going to show you what we're dealing with now. But we know that it doesn't matter. This, what you're doing, is dishonest. Let me have some coffee. Because if we took, in an alternative universe, Nolan took an African queen and turned her white with a casting, you would lose your fucking shit. Now, wouldn't you? Yes, you would. You know you would. So shut up. But then again, it's Wired we're talking about, guys. Wired. Just to give you a little reminder of some of the professors that they have shown us.
The Greeks were very open to same-sex relationships. So the same thing held true for women. It was perfectly acceptable, at least in some times and places in the Greek world.
Men have sex with women, men have sex with men. Women have sex with women, women have sex with men. And so much like today, it was really a spectrum. And so much like today, and so much like today, and so much like today.
You may be asking, where the heck do they find these professors? Well, the same place Vanity Fair finds them. I mean, do you remember this?
It's really quite racist, actually. Conquer their sexuality, white supremacy.
Racist and imperialist implications, identity politics, binary gender, capitalist, gay. Racial hierarchies, queer sexuality, queer relationship, gender and sexuality, climate change. There's a homophobic undertone, gender, than it does around sexuality. Not just homoerotic, but homoerotic, sexualized perversity.
Hide your kids, they're gonna rewire their brains. That's what Wired is all about, rewiring brains. It is a righteous response. Anyways, Black Thatcher has become grimly predictable. History, literature, and even completely made-up myths, of which the Odyssey and the Iliad are not, by the way, because they're grounded in cultural norms and historical events that have been embellished with a mythological aspect, but it's not like you know anything, have become fodder for reactionary cranks and amateur historian content creators with names like Roman Helmet Guy. Yeah, Roman Helmet Guy is fine when it comes to, I mean, I've disagreed with the guy a couple of times on X, but at least, what's the big deal? All contesting vague ideas of Western culture. So as you can see, what you're doing, you clowns at Wired, is that you're confirming what we're saying. By doing this and putting Western culture into quotes, you are demonstrating what we are saying. Our accusations is that what you're doing, or you, meaning all of Hollywood plus academia, you're trying to destroy Western culture. And here you are putting Western culture in quotes, effectively proving us right. Roman Helmet Guy did not respond to repeated requests to comment. Ask me, I'll respond, let's go, let's do it. Okay, he didn't respond, ask me, send me a message on X, do it if you have courage, cowards. Ask me, excuse me, Metatron, can you respond to these questions that we absolutely do it, Wired? Because here's the thing, no one has had the guts to address my points, which were you race swap only in one direction, Everyone is like, oh, so are you saying you don't want to see black people on screen? Is that what you're saying? Do you hate black people? You say anyway, POC? Do you don't care about minorities and the rights of minorities? Do you really hate transgender people that much? Is that what you're saying? Are you a racist? Do you really hate? Are you a white supremacist? That's what people say when I ask the very simple question, why do you only race swap in one direction? So, I don't think they're going to do it. But please, feel free. Contact me. Put me in contact with whoever the heck you want. I'm ready to go. Anyways, continuing on this. See, history, literature, and even completely made-up myths have become fodder for reactionaries. No, I'd say that history, literature, and even completely made-up myths, not in the sense of ancient literature, that is not completely made-up myths, but in the sense of anything at this point, video games, comics, everything has been infected by people like you, Wyatt, who are trying to strip anything of its legitimate, truth-based, evidence-based facts, and you decided to replace them with whatever the heck messages, progressive messaging, that you have decided to push. That's the reality. And you complain, trying to point the finger and shame people like us who react to what you are doing with history and the rewriting of history and the graping of our literature and stories, is the equivalent of literary and historical victim blaming. You can't take our history, race swap everything, change all the facts like every other totalitarian regime and insane extremist ideologies have, for instance in the 20th century in Europe, with both Italian fascist, Austrian painter fan club and the USSR under Stalin. That's what they have all done, and you're doing the same. You think that history, literature, facts, anything belongs to you for your propagandistic message. Well, we stand the ground against that. See, another thing that I find fascinating, so you're telling us that the fact we are amateur historians, oh, that invalidates, right? We're a bunch of cranks, reactionaries, and amateur historians. All right, but the professional, who are the professionals then? These are the professionals?
Homoerotic.
See, when the professionals bend the knee and misuse the degrees they have and the positions of trust that we have given them within the realm of education and academia, when they push propaganda at the expenses of the truth, who else is supposed to speak? Because you see, this happened under the Nazis. Quite a lot of academics were in favor of the Nazis, pushing their nonsense. The Aryan race theory, where do you think it was pushed? By whom? But the best thing of it all, guys, the greatest thing is this. Few people know more about these squabbles than Emily Wilson's, they tell us, an Oxford-born, Oxford-educated classicist. Oh my gosh, the elite is bullshit. Classicists with another degree in early modern English literature. That's up until they will be allowed to call it modern English literature, because very soon that's going to change. I mean, they did change Anglo-Saxon, didn't they? Anglo-Saxon, you can't say that. It's racist, and racist will the word English become. Give it 2 years. All right, Metatron, but what are they going to call it then? Well, how about welcome to this new course on early modern United Caliphate literature. Please do not forget that while academics in England are busy removing the word Anglo-Saxon as if it was the Yersinia pestis bacterium that caused the outbreaks of the bubonic plague in England, they're also busy making articles telling you that the Scandinavian Norse Vikings weren't necessarily blonde or Scandinavian. Viking may not have been blonde or Scandinavian. United Kingdom Vikings were not all white, and some were Muslim. Oh my gosh. What a clown world. Yeah, I can imagine all those Vikings just praying towards Mecca before going into a raid, and good luck writing the Quran with Nordic runes. Viking Muslims. Oh, the Viking Muslims. This is dystopian. School children are to be taught that Vikings were not all white and some were Muslim, to abandon Eurocentric ideas. You know what? I know I called them clowns. I take that back. These are demons. We're not white and we're Muslims. And then you don't want us to speak? Oh, we'll speak all right, Wyatt. We'll speak all right. Anyways, we are telling us an Oxford-born, Oxford-educated classicist with a degree in this and that. Wilson's modern translations of Homer's epics, the Iliad and the Odyssey, have themselves been staging grounds for culture war consternation. It's an issue she seems to approach with the resolve of a grizzled veteran or just an exhausted one, so blah, blah, blah. This entire article where yours truly was shown as one of these right-wing amateur historian chuds cranks that know nothing. How dare you, protecting Western culture? What the fuck is Western culture? What is Western culture? Huh? Yeah, well, the very same article was championing the Oxford-born, Oxford-educated classicist. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. What do you do when said Oxford-born, Oxford-educated now agrees with the MAGA chuds? See, it's a little bit of a problem now because you made it sound, Wyatt, that, well, who do you think you are? Her entire life's work has been the Odyssey and the Iliad and translation, and she knows ancient Greek like you know Minecraft and Call of Duty. So who do you think you are? Conan Exile. Well, that's a bit of a problem, though, now, because, I mean, how are you going to contest the fact that she said that this is terrible and double down on it? Odyssey, right? That's a problem because here we are told Odyssey expert accused of echoing MAGA attacks. But who are you to tell her she's wrong? Well, you just told her she's Oxford educated, this and that. She spent her life. Well, then, MAGA's latest culture war target, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, is grandiose and superficial according to a world-renowned scholar of the Greek poem. But one prominent author thinks that Wilson is playing into MAGA's hands. She's playing into MAGA's hands. How dare you? Even if these people that we decided to arbitrarily just describe as MAGA, the entirety of them, doesn't matter if they're from America, from Europe, from Japan, from Greece. If you dare to say that Nolan's Odyssey is not good, you're MAGA. So when that happens, if some of them, are making good points and they're actually right, and you, what's her name, super Oxford woman, decides, you know what, yeah, she ends up saying the same thing because, truth has a thing. This is a complicated context. This is a very complicated concept that I'm going to explain for a progressive, but I would like to underline there is only one truth. Okay, your truth, my truth, their truth, the headphones truth, his truth. No. There is only one truth in reality. So, we can have different opinions, can have different ways to try and figure out the truth when it's not as evident. We may be wrong, we may think something is the truth, but the new evidence comes out and then we need to change. Fine, that's all great. But the truth is there and it's real. When two things are mutually exclusive, only one of them can be true. If the truth is that Nolan's Odyssey is a terrible adaptation of the Odyssey, and a MAGA person thinks that, a non-MAGA person thinks that, and the super professor also thinks that. Who are you to do this? To then try to shame her into silence? Well, then do you even care about the truth at that point? Now, given opinionated positions don't always overlap neatly with factual truth, right? There is the factual truth that Nolan's Odyssey's costumes are not historically accurate. That is a factual truth, and there is no way to go around it. And if you try to say, no, it's historical, then you're wrong. You're just wrong. But you could tell me, hey, they're not historically accurate, but I love them. I like them so much. In fact, they look better than Bronze Age real historical. Like I would question your sanity, but it's your point of view. This isn't about truth at that point. It's about personal opinion. I mean, you're a lunatic if you think that this is 10 out of 10 cinema, but it's not about truth. What is true, though, is that this is not a Bronze Age set of armor. That's the truth, right? That is the truth. So, while I'm trying to be as intellectually honest as possible when it comes to truth and opinions, still, you, Wyatt, built the case that her opinions are much more valuable and valid than anyone else because, she's the super Oxford educated. So, the very moment that her opinions align with MAGA, as you say, you have a problem, because either you're going to have to admit that, maybe it was wrong of us to say that if you don't like Nolan's Odyssey, or you disagree with the race swapping, or you hate the historical inaccuracy, or you hate the textual and literary inaccuracy, well, maybe we shouldn't have said your own MAGA. Because now it's a problem. Now we've got her, a super educated Oxford feminist, who's agreeing with MAGA. Why? Because it wasn't MAGA. It was some MAGA, but then it was just people giving their honest, real, lived opinions. But you tried to use the shaming tactics of calling everyone MAGA in order to undermine her arguments. But that backfired now, because now you said that she agreed with MAGA. Had you not tried to describe all who dared to disagree with the genius of this traitor of the West as MAGA, then you could have said, well, she agrees because there are people who are not MAGA and disagree with Nolan's because they do understand history, or they love the actual literary tradition, and that would have made it easier for you. But now you've got to, what are you going to do? You're either going to say, well, she's wrong. Great. But that directly contradicts what you tried to push in June, that she was the goddess of the Odyssey. So now you're a problem because you got to debunk yourself, or you need to tell us that she's a traitor and how dare she. But then you demonstrate you don't care about the truth then, do you? You don't care about what she thinks. I've attacked her constantly because of the way she described Odysseus. You know, a wife abuser going home, wife objectifier going home to his slaves and all that shit. White men, all these white men, that's bullshit. I still think her positions are bullshit. But I do appreciate that at least she must have some kind of love for real representation of the Bronze Age that comes from the time she has spent with it. Unfortunately, her ideology has clouded her vision of the past, because everything in a feminist point of view, particularly when influenced by Marxist ideology, becomes oppressor. Everything is going to be filtered through the political positions. But in a way, all of us have, some more, some less, have biases, right? They come from our politics, they come from religion, they come from a culture. There are things that we find awful, but maybe people didn't 50 years ago, never mind 500 years ago, let alone 3,000 years ago. So all of that is fine. But she might have to say this, no matter how much I find her ideology incompatible with mine, I have to admit that she is someone who put a lot of hours into the text and understanding the language and studying it in ancient Greece. So probably that part of her that somehow remained untouched by her political biases saw what Nolan did, a mess, and she couldn't resist. She added, one would expect a translator of all people beholden to the text and service to the text to be just a wee bit more thoughtful and respectful of others who are acting in good faith, just as she would claim she is. So now they're trying to bash her, but look, through what? Through emotional manipulation. I can't believe you would do this. Someone like you, how dare you? Shameful. Shame on you. They're trying to shame her. Wilson take on the blockbuster. Well, what does this even mean, to be thoughtful and respectful towards who? She was thoughtful and respectful. It's not like she did what I did to Nolan. I wasn't thoughtful and respectful, and I doubled down on that, but she didn't do that. She, however, didn't like it. Why? Because she understands the text. So how about you think this? You made this. You, all of you, made this into a culture war event. It wasn't by doing what? By race swapping. Had there not been any race swap in this, and any feminist message in this, then it would have just been the usual situation with Hollywood, where people like me, history enthusiasts, would have hated it because of the costumes. And then you would have had people, Nolan fanboys, defending it no matter what. And believe it or not, a lot of people were doing that initially. When you look at the initial reactions to the trailer, both on the left and the right, we were attacking the language, we were attacking the costumes, but then it became political. When they did all of the race swapping, cast a transgender actor, cast this, cast that, race swap the woman, put that a beautiful woman, needs to be black. When you did that, you put it in the culture war domain. I was going to attack it anyways, because that's what I've been doing for 12 years, politics or not. If you give me the wrong rivets into the outer rim of a period shield, I'll bitch about it. But you decided to invite all of the political situations, so now shut it. Wilson's take on the blockbuster was published in the London Review of Books. Why did they do that, right? It should have been censored. Following Nolan's praise of her work on its press tour. Look, more tactics, more money. She praised you. And you No, it was great. It shows integrity. What is it? What was it? What? It shows she's got integrity, at least when it comes to that. You praise me all you want. You still did an awful job, is what she's saying. The filmmaker told Empire in November that his version of the titular character Odysseus was inspired by the Emily Wilson translation that begins, "Tell me about a complicated man." Now, as much as I hate that choice of words, did he ask her? I mean, that's also another thing. If it was inspired by her, but you don't understand shit, Mr. Nolan, how do you know that your inspiration is in fact based onto what she actually meant? And clearly wasn't, because she complained about it. So maybe you could, but that's the thing. Nolan, as many of these Hollywood directors, he has a lot of contempt for historians, for scientists, because they dare to not understand his genius vision. And given artistic freedom and productive freedom and all of that is fine. You don't have to create something that is perfectly historically accurate. But when you make a debauchery like he did, particularly after saying, oh, it's based on this woman, and then you don't even call her, make a phone call. But he didn't, because he didn't want her to say anything. He didn't want this to be an interpretation of Homer, let alone Emily Wilson. It needed to be his own. And the only reason why he said, but Emily Wilson translation is good, is because she's a feminist and it's an allegiance. But it failed. It backfired, because yes, she's a feminist, but she's also a classicist. So she knows what you've done is nonsense. Nolan said the Wilson translation captures the genius of the character, the cleverness, the inventiveness of him. And so, okay, where was all of that in the film? There was a huge part of what interested me. He's not just a soldier, he's an amazing strategist, a very wily person. Willy, Wiley, I don't know how you read that. None of which... all we got in the movie is a PTSD ridden. I like Matt Damon's interpretation of the PTSD. I didn't like the PTSD choice. But Wilson, who admits in the essay that her Odyssey translation have been flying off the shelves because of the interest generated by the film, okay, so she made a lot of money, savaged Nolan's mention, implying he hadn't read much of the text. Oh my gosh, you know what? I want to give credit to the woman. She made a lot, and people actually are using this against her now. They're saying, well, you certainly sold a lot of books, haven't you? Because literally, the very people that keep telling us capitalism is wrong, eat the rich, billionaires shouldn't exist, now have decided to use money as the ultimate parameter of success in life because, oh, right-wing charts, he made $1 billion, what are you going to do about it? He said he was going to... Yeah, some people did say, and they were wrong, that this movie would have flopped, but the majority of us didn't, and the monetary success means nothing, because you know who else was successful monetarily? Hitler's generals. Does that make them righteous or moral in any way, shape, or form? No, and you should know that if you really were a left-wing proletariat class struggle, power to the people, you don't give a fuck about the people. You are literally all defending... You hate chuds so much that you literally ended up defending millionaires you said shouldn't exist, rich people you said we were supposed to eat, whatever that means, and you're using money as the ultimate parameter of truth, justice, and morality. Dare I say, your God. And so now, you sold a lot of copies, you made a lot of money, you certainly weren't grateful, were you? So now women need to be grateful. Woman, make me a sandwich at this point. She added that the film lacked psychological, emotional, political, and ethical depth, and she would be ashamed to have written any part of this script. Ooh, everything backfires with these people. You see, here's the thing, all of them, Variety, Wired, you are embarrassing at this because you lack tactics and strategy. In fact, chances are you don't even know the difference between these two words, which are not synonymous. Shaming tactics do not work anymore, and neither do buzzwords. Change it. I mean, why am I even giving the suggestion? No, keep doing it. Doesn't work. Oates argued that Wilson's sour review slotted right in with MAGA's uproar over the film's cast, as right-wingers, led most vocally by ex-owner Elon Musk, whined. Look at the choice of words. This is like a child. You write like a 12-year-old. Bully. That's what you write like. Whined that Helen of Troy is portrayed by black actress Lupita Nyong'o and trans actor Elliot Page was cast as Saul. Would it be whining if we race swap all of African history and place a bunch of white guys? And then you complain, why are you deleting black people? Why are you changing their history? Why are you not respectful? Is that whining? See, the problem is that we did show respect to the Polynesians when we made the movie fully ethnically homogenous as it should be. There's nothing you can do about this. You lost. Wilson, slotted with right-wing MAGA, is not going to work. She's not going to back down, but I hope, because you're trying to say, well, now you're with MAGA. Do you want to be remembered as MAGA? Is that what you want? And they are hoping that she's like, oh no, guilty by association. Oh, please, no, I'm not a right-wing chud. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm not MAGA, so I will now bow down and do what? Change her opinion publicly about a text she has devoted her life and say, no, Nolan's Odyssey was an honor. It was an honor. And Lupita Nyong'o is the most beautiful Helen of Troy I've ever seen in my life. And so was the transgender Greek warrior. You know, she can't win. At that point, you might as well just double down. Do you know what I mean? Because if you do that, no one is ever going to listen to you ever again, because all you need to change your positions and ideas on topics you should be extremely confident about is to be shamed. So I think the woman is too intelligent to do that. I'm just going to say it. Do remember, I don't like her, by the way, one bit. But I hate these people even more. So I would absolutely, at this point, enemy of my enemy. Newsmax host Rob Finnerty dedicated an entire segment to his complaints about the film's wokeness before... Yeah, look how they put wokeness in quotes. Bro, there's another 15 articles and posts, hundreds, on X telling us, oh, I thought it was go woke, go broke, but now this is woke and made a lot of money. Is it woke or is it not woke? Is it supposed to be in quotes or no? Are we making up the fact that it's woke? Which it is, to be honest. Anything that has to do with race warping is woke. Just how it is. Unidirectional against white people, let me underline. But here they are. This is part of the gaslighting. It's not actually woke. But it is when we want to say that it made a lot of money because woke won. But it's not at the same time. Look at the inconsistency of the inner logics. Before the film was released, Musk led an online crusade. Yeah, exactly, crusade. That's what it is. Although then again, I myself, somewhat of a crusader myself, if I say so. 75 videos to date, 300 posts on X, all about Nolan. And I'm not going to stop. Precisely because there are people like this. This is why, guys, this is more than money, okay? They are the ones fixated with money. For me, making money off of all of this is a nice plus. I'm not going to deny that I don't like the money that I'm making off of all of this and the videos and the views. Fine. I love it. Okay? But it's beyond that. It's about defending our people. It's about defending our history. It's about justice. It's about this continuous and just double standards and tutti that drive me nuts. And I would make the same videos even if I made zero money and I had to go back to my regular job, 9 to 5 as a teacher in school. I would still go home, be like, I'll be right there with you, honey, and then do my video. Because this is how much I hate injustice. And you can choose to believe that or not. And to anyone who calls me a grifter, yes, I'm a grifter. I embrace it. I love it. I'm proud of it. I'm the king of grift. That's me. The buzzwords and the shame. I'm going to call you a grifter, so you should stop. No, I'll call myself a grifter. So what you going to do now? I'm a grifter. Absolutely. In fact, extremist far-right grifter is what I am. What you gonna do about it? MAGA-friendly podcaster Joe Rogan opted out of joining the backlash in comments he made on his show on Wednesday. I know a lot of people that wanted to go hate it, and because they were upset that Elliot Page played this person and Helen of Troy's black lady, he said, well, we care, Joe. Joe, I like your podcast. Hand me over. I'll tell you why I think we should care. I'll tell you, Joe, why. With all due respect, because again, I like you, Joe. I love you. My favorite, I keep rewatching the episode about the aliens, Bob Lazar episode. I keep rewatching it. I find it so entertaining. I must have watched it like 15 times. So I owe you, Joe, for keeping me company while I'm painting my miniatures, while I'm playing my strategy games, while I'm cooking dinner. Okay? That was fantastic job. I loved that episode. And there are a lot of... I do watch Joe Rogan, and I like the guy. Okay? But I would like to explain to you why we should care. And once again, as someone who has made 70, I'm going to make 100 videos minimum of this. And it's not just a grift. It's not just for the money. There are plenty of other things that I could talk about that can make me money. It's because I do really believe there is a reason why we as Europeans, as Westerners, as white people should care whenever they do race swap. Because it's not something that has just happened. It's not once in a time. It is a consistent, continuous effort to race swap everything European, but never the other way around. And the two-tier justice is infecting, through DEI, not only the professional sphere, it's the same thing. It's infecting academia. There are plenty. I need to show you, Joe Rogan, I need to show you what the University of Waterloo says about capitalizing the B in black, but low-casing the W in white. I mean, this is all part of a massive, progressive, anti-white mosaic, anti-European and anti-Western. It is a left-wing mission, and we care, and people like me care for all cultures. I don't want Africans to be race swap and misrepresented. I don't want Asians to be race swap and misrepresented. Likewise, I don't want white people to be race swap and misrepresented and changed, because the facts matters. And these very insidious, continuous transformations of the truth entered academia. Another thing I'm more than happy to prove to you. They're changing everything, and then they're teaching it to the children. This is a way to delete the past. And in my opinion, all of this has the one single goal of fostering the overall acceptance of the new generation, of LGBTQ propaganda, and most importantly, of illegal immigrations in the waves of millions. Because if you convince them we've always been here and we built this country with you, and this king and this queen, because do remember, whenever you think, but it's not like anyone believes that Eleanor Troy was actually black, or that Queen Elizabeth was actually black. The people know. Do the children know? Because eventually they'll replace us. You know, we're going to die out, the people that know the truth. And pedagogically speaking, a brain that hasn't even developed the prefrontal cortex is very easy to convince of anything. And they are not just telling you, remember, Netflix Black Cleopatra is a documentary. There is a very famous scene where the woman says, doesn't matter what they tell you in school, Cleopatra was black because her grandma told her. How does that go into a documentary? They're telling you to disregard what you've been told so far, to accept the new dogma, which is an anti-white and anti-European replacement dogma. I can prove it to you. I've got a lot of footage. Like, for instance, again, when they tell us that the Norse were not white and were Muslim. How do you explain that? Why are they deleting the word Anglo-Saxon? Why are they doing such an enormous job to control the language we use? Why can I not say foreigner? Why do I have to say international people? Why can I not say minority anymore, apparently, according to the University of Waterloo? Please double check it. You have to say equity-deserving groups. Equity-deserving groups. Why do they want us to say that? Because they want us to become unwilling vectors of their ideology. You can think these are minorities, but you have to say equity-deserving group. Why? Because that way you're pushing the message that these groups deserve equity, which I don't believe. I don't believe in equity at all. I believe in meritocratic acquisition of wealth, success, jobs, opportunities. But then again, plenty of universities now have specifically reserved slots that can only be given if you're either non-binary, two-spirited, whatever the hell that means. Meaning they are or belonging to a minority oppressed group. This is unacceptable. No, people should be accepted into any position, whether it be a job, a scholarship, or a university, because of their merit, not their skin, not their gender, not their sexuality, not what they identify as. Happy to provide all of the documentation. I've been doing this for a while. And yes, we care, Joe, and I think that if you look at the evidence I have to show you, so will you, because I know you're a reasonable man. Entertainment reporter, we're told. More like a Muppet. Helen of Congo. If you appreciate my content so far and wish to help ensure my ability to continue to tell it how it is, regardless of any possible backlash, please support this channel on Patreon. Any support helps me and my team of academics keep the channel strong and gives us the means to fight back against the political rewriting of history. Stand with us, form the wall, defend the truth.